Hello there, friends, and welcome back to Pastors' Wives Tell All, where we spill the tea
on Thursdays. Hello, darlings, and welcome to our special edition of Pastors' Wives Tell All, where we three, Jessica,
Jenna, and Stephanie,
spill the tea on Thursdays. Grab some coffee or a pot of tea and listen in for all the tips and tricks and random facts you never knew you needed.
Until now. Welcome once again.
For welcoming us.
Thank you for welcoming
I
us.
apparently
And the people.
love to welcome all the people to the Spill the Tea. So I have a question for you two. You both, once again, left me for Rwanda, Africa. It's fine.
We did.
I'm really not bitter, even though I've mentioned this on how many episodes now? I don't know.
This would be
It's
the
fine.
third,
Okay.
I think.
Well, I just missed you guys so much.
We missed you too.
But in a second, I want to hear just what is one thing that happened that really stuck out to you that you will never forget. That was so great. And I know it's hard to pick one thing, but this is a spill the tea, so we're going to try to make it a little shorter. But I'll tell you one thing I noticed, and I didn't even go on the trip.
Okay.
So several of our college and career kiddos went on this trip. And when I say several, I mean, it was like, what, 8 of them? Maybe. I think so. Or no, not 8 of them. It was 6 of them. One person was an adult and one was a teenager in our youth group that got to go along with my husband. And I remember when they got back, of course, they are all just like, wow, look what God did. They have been so excited, and it's been a little bit hard transitioning back into the States. There's one person in particular, and he looked at me and he's like, my life is completely changed. And I was like, I told you those very words. You're going to come back and your life's going to be completely changed. He's like, I didn't believe you. I said, okay. He said, but no, it really has. And so we still need to sit down because I really want to hear, he shared a little bit, but I really want to hear the whole story. But it's just funny how when you leave your comfort zone and you go over there, it's just different. Even one of them struggles with anxiety so much, and she was scared about it. And even on the flight on the way there, she did have some moments. But when she was there, the anxiety was gone. And she's on medication. Like this is something serious that she deals with every single day. But over there, gone. And it almost like it makes me happy and sad at the same time of the difference from there to here. How over here we struggle so much, and this is me included, with anxiety and depression, and it's just an epidemic. But for some reason over there, I don't know. I don't know what it is. It's just a heaviness that's here in this Western world, and it's sad, really.
Yeah.
But I'm
is.
just like, I'm thrilled to see the difference in these kids. And I say kids, they're adults, but you get what I'm saying.
That's good. I agree. I mean, and I will just say to you and Isaac, like the kids, you're, almost grown-ups. They are grown-ups, but they will always be youth to you.
Yeah.
Youth in college and career just did a phenomenal job of just running after what God has called them to do in confidence. And that says a lot about who y'all are and how much y'all have discipled them and poured into them. So it's super cool. Super cool.
Yeah. I was super proud of them.
I would take them back any day. Okay, mine really quick was we had the opening of a ribbon cutting for our church that was built Bible Way Baptist Church. And you'll have to go back and listen to the last couple episodes to hear more about that. But it was just a very cool moment to be there for the opening and to see John Baptiste get to preach on that stage and just the worship that happened in the celebration. But the cool part for me, one of the cool parts, and I cried a lot, and I don't cry a lot, guys, but I knew I was being emotional that day. But
Yeah.
the cool thing is a few of you know my story and the call to missions on my life. And back long time ago, when we went through a lot of church hurt and we found ourselves at Christ Community in Columbus, We were there for a little bit, and there was a Sunday morning where the assistant pastor at the time spoke on abiding and ended really calling out. He said, don't do this. But I feel like there's some people in here that God has given them a ministry that they are sitting on and are not being obedient to the call. And today is the day where you come up on the stage and say it in a microphone and to make it happen. And I was in tears that day. And also Come Away, My Beloved, which is a very old song, was played in worship, which never happens. I've never heard since then be played with a worship set. And I went up that day and said Come Away Missions from the stage, and it was put up there on the screen, and it was just a really cool moment. Well, John, literally this ribbon cutting day
In Africa,
spoke almost the same message that Pastor Derek did the day that I finally said yes to Come Away Missions. And so it was just like a moment where I was just like, right when John got off stage, I was like, I had to tell him. I was like, even to the point of there are people that have been called in here to run ministries and do all that. He didn't ask him to come up on stage, but he said the same words that Pastor Derek did, and abiding in Christ and all of that. So it was wha-bam. It was just a moment that I will never forget.
Full
just
circle
the
right
full
there.
circle moment that I think
that's
God
amazing.
gave me that day. So
yeah. It's so hard to pick just one. That day was extremely emotional for me. I cried the whole time, which I cry in Africa. That's just what I do. I just cry the whole time. But I just had so much joy, and just oh my gosh, this church is built. What in the world? It's crazy. It was a year ago that it was just the foundation. And there were so many moments that happened on that trip. But I think one thing that really stands out to me, and I told Isaac this, when John was on that stage and he was, talking about the beginning of, the church and how Isaac had come on the trip and he caught the vision to bring back to your pastor to build that church in a year. And Jessica had already said, something about, the fingerprints of God, and how, if Isaac hadn't said yes to come on that trip, then we would literally not have been sitting there at the grand opening ribbon cutting of this church building. And I turned around and I looked at Isaac in the moment when John was honoring him from stage. And Isaac, if you know Isaac, he doesn't want to be recognized. He doesn't want any sort of, it's all God. But it was in a moment that Isaac said yes, that the dominoes started to fall. And I just turned back and I looked at Isaac, and I've never seen Isaac emotional, ever. And I think he's a pretty tough guy. I've just never seen him emotional. Never seen him really talk about his emotions or anything like that. But when I looked back, he had tears in his eyes, and I just remember I lost it. I was that moment for me, it was just cool to see the realization on his face of I was obedient. I said yes. And we are standing here today because of what God did through my yes. And that was just, that moment sticks out in my head from the trip. And there were so many other things that we'll probably end up talking about on another episode because we had so many delays. But we learned, me and Jessica, I think we learned on that trip that there are so many blessings with every delay.
For sure.
And we're going to talk about that on another episode.
That's right.
Y'all.
I think next week.
Yeah.
So get ready.
That's
Get
right.
ready.
Well, we love you guys.
Yes, we
Stephanie, we can't wait until the next year when you get to come with us.
I don't
Yes.
even know if I can because apparently my husband's going twice next year.
No, we've already scheduled it. You're good. You're taking the Somerville team. But we can talk about it off of the podcast.
I'm sorry.
We talked about it without you.
Until next time, we're going to have a quick conversation.
Okay, we love you guys. Bye. Bye. Okay, friends, if you have enjoyed this episode as much as we have, please help us spread the word on Facebook and Instagram.
If you didn't know yet,
Instagram is where all the fun is at. From dance reels on Wednesdays to spiritual encouragement and laugh out loud posts in between, there is something for everyone.
And last but certainly not least, if you could take a moment right now to stop what you're doing and give us a rating and review, even subscribe to our podcast, this seriously helps other people find us who wouldn't be able to otherwise. Thank you so much for your love and support. We hope you'll tune in next week.